We offer the best grooming products for you. It's all natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, style, class, and luxury. Make our products that are made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Company, give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah. Black, gentleman, black, yeah. Company, give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Just enter code Stormybman for 10% off for the Black Gentleman Grooming Company. There is a shareable link in the description box for the products of the Black Gentleman Grooming Company. Welcome, everybody, to the post-fight show with Stormybman. This is the post-fight show for Taylor versus Catterall 2. The fight just wrapped up where we saw Catterall come out with a unanimous decision win over Josh Taylor as they had faced one another for a second time in over a couple of years. A rematch that had been brewing, and had people feeling a certain kind of way for these two men to come together again. There was no title on the line, but boy, this was a championship caliber type fight. They delivered as far as the action. They delivered as far as being able to step up to the plate and give what they could bring to the ring. My hat is off to both gentlemen. I knew that this fight was going to be pretty good, but it was even better than the first go round. I mean, you saw ebb and flow. I saw rounds being flipped between the two men. Though Catterall came out with a unanimous decision from the judges, once again, the judges' scorecards come into question. But you know what? At this juncture, if they're not going to hold these judges accountable, we have to use our own sensibilities. Now, sometimes because of a fighter that you support, a decision may not necessarily go your way, but please understand that every fight and decision that is met is not necessarily a robbery. It is not necessarily someone being chided or something like that. Popular sentiment is something that has seeped into culture of our present society, and it is very influential. We're seeing it on an everyday basis in all walks of life, not just the sport of boxing. So with that being said, I've often tried to encourage people to research and look into, if you profess to like this sport, start looking into the archives of past fights. Learn about boxing. Learn about how fighters can win rounds, secure rounds, put them in the bank, how someone can take over a round, how someone can rest for a round or so, where a fighter can pick it up and let it down. You see, because everything is not just tailored for your liking. We're talking about the battle of wills between two combatants. And sometimes you have to be able to see beyond the surface. I loved this fight. And I was thinking as we were going into the championship rounds of 11 and 12, I was saying to myself, I'm like, they should consider fighting each other again at some point. And here it is in the post-fight in the ring. They were talking to Josh Taylor and asking him, and he said, yeah, why not run it back again? And I love that, because you know why? They bring the best out of one another. You see, once you have suffered a loss on your record, once you've been dropped or knocked down, once you have had the sentiment of people turn against you, you know, there's nothing else to shield or protect other than what's really inside of you as an individual. So these men were able to put that on the line. Now understand, Jack Catterall has been waiting over 2 years for his get back. And when he thought that he was wronged with the poor decision of the first fight, he didn't get a chance to win the titles that were on the line at that time. Josh Taylor was the undisputed junior welterweight and lineal junior welterweight champion. So Catterall, he lost a bit of history along with his along with the type of adulation that is supposed to come when you put it on the line and you accomplish your goals. See, that's what the bad judges took from him in Scotland a couple of years ago when they faced one another the first time. So the fact that the fight was held in the UK this time, and the judges that were brought in were guys who could call the fight fairly, but there was one questionable scorecard. But I still, as Tim Bradley said at the end of the day, felt that the right man may have won. But according to my scorecard, which I will reveal what that turned out to be in a moment, But I want to first recognize and acknowledge who we have in the chat. Let's go out there and see who's in the building. Wow. What a fight, people. What a fight. I am so geeked up. I'm so hyped up on boxing right now because we're seeing some really quality fights. And I'm telling you, stop paying attention to the drama outside of the ring, things you can't do nothing about. Let the PTB and let the authoritative elements of things handle that. Just enjoy the aspects of the sport in the manner of which it is meant to be enjoyed. Just a little bit of advisement for you. Shower Liars out there saying, woohoo, Josh came out feisty. She says, Shabbat Shalom, Sensei. Shalom chat. What's good with you, Shower? Good to see you out there. Good to see you out there. Glad you're with us. One of my staunchest supporters. Mr. Shelton is out there. What's going on, Mr. Shelton? Saying peace. J. Wayne Citizen in the building with the Pi May emojis saying Bob Arum. He's laughing about Bob Arum. And Snoopy Mac is back with us again saying salute. Todd Swindle in the building saying salute Stormybman in chat. Main Event Mark, my brother's out there saying, great fight. Yes, it was, man. Yes, it was. DLP is out there saying, Bob is right. He's still a POS. Jack won a close fight. Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's see. King Styles Productions is out there saying, salute Stormybman in chat. Learn is back saying, I scored this fight 117 to 111 for Jack. Though thought the scorecards reflected that fight. Todd Swindle saying Catterall won, but not by that wide of a margin. Tony G says Bob calling the English what they are, cheats. DOP says too wide, 115, 113. Jack. Robert Singleton in the building saying salute Sensei in the chat. Shower says, oh, I'm sorry. Robert says, great fight. Catterall couldn't miss with that left hook. And we got JDM in the building. Who else we got out here? Tony G is out there. William Old School, there he is. What's going on with you, William? Good to see you out there, brother. He says, salute Stormy, peace, my brother, and y'all smash the like button, people, when entering the building. Peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, trying to catch up. Things is moving kind of quickly here. Drew Titan is in the building saying, yo, what's happening, Drew? I don't know if you're working, if you had a chance to catch the fights, but damn good fights. Isaiah GQ in the building. It's still moving fast on me. What else we got out here? TD Sports Talk is in the building. What's happening with you? He says, what's good, Stormy? Hope all is well. Salute. Yeah, man. Hit that like button as you come in. Because it's, you know, it's the post-fight show, so we got a lot of folks that's coming in, man. A lot of folks coming in. T. Berry, where you been, man? Good to see you out there. He says, peace, Stormy B man in chat. William says, I had to work, but got home just in time to catch the fight. The chat is moving really fast for me right now, guys. So if I missed anybody, apologies. It's rolling. It's rolling. So let me get on into my thoughts on the fight, how things turned out. Listen. And we got more fights tonight on ESPN. And Billy is fighting later. So make sure you be ready to tune in for that. But talking about what we were able to see here, I knew that this fight was going to be tight. I knew that it was going to be highly competitive. The two men reflected that element of wanting to really get out there and display their wares. But by no means do I think it was a robbery. I had scored the fight with Catterall jumping out the gate right away, fast start. And then he settled into how he normally fights. First couple of rounds I had going to Catterall. Then the second couple of rounds I had going, no, I'm sorry. The first round I had going to Catterall. And then the second and third round I had going to Taylor. I felt like Catterall came back in the fourth and the fifth. So right there off the bat, what I was seeing myself was there was ebb and flow happening. These guys were giving and taking, looking to attack with purpose, and I like that. The body language, to sound and channel Andre Ward when he was doing commentary, the body language of Josh Taylor was quite different in this fight. He seemed to make weight, and I didn't see what Tim Bradley saw about the weight situation, because early in the first 4 or 5 rounds, he had said that he thought Taylor was having weight issues. I didn't quite see it that way. What I noticed about Taylor's footwork and his activity and his overall ability to be aggressive, he fought with a lot of passion this evening. That wasn't there when he faced Teofimo Lopez. And I don't think he wanted to be embarrassed by Catterall, which is why he came in like that. And it was good. It was good. I don't know what type of living he's doing outside the ring. I've heard some stories, but nothing to confirm, because I don't have anyone that can confirm it from that side of the world for me. But his punch resistance seemingly is on the decline. Those hard-fought wars that he's had with other fighters prior to now are seemingly catching up to him. And the fact that he's been almost a decade at this weight. Those things can play into a fighter's decline. Maybe you could see something a little different for him if he were to go ahead and go on up to 147. And maybe that's a great option for him because, you know, Matchroom and Dazn has signed Jaron Boots Ennis. And maybe somewhere down the line, he could get a big money fight with Jaron Boots Ennis after a couple of fights campaigning at 147. This fight, he came on strong from rounds 6 through 10. I gave only one of those rounds, 6 through 10, to Catterall, which was the 9th round that I thought Catterall kind of edged out. I gave the 10th round to Taylor, and the 11th and 12th rounds I gave to Catterall. That sequence where the ref called them together and had them, get themselves, together and everything. And then all of a sudden, Catterall lands this big punch on, he landed this big punch on Taylor and had Taylor really hurt, man, so much to the degree that as he went for the follow-up and everything, when Taylor went to try to grab and tie him up, his legs were totally shot. And he went down, pulling Catterall down with him, right? It was one of those situations where Catterall smothered his work. But it was all the way entertaining. And I thought that kind of won the fight for Catterall. I had the fight amazingly, and I didn't do this on purpose, people. I had the fight amazingly a draw. And it's because there were some rounds that were close where people could call swing rounds. And you could give it to one guy or the other. But I'm very definitive about my cards. And what I try to do is I use the adage of whom look worse for wear, whom would you have rather been, whom do you feel actually had the energy to carry through in a round. And whether it was in advancement and aggression, whether it's in shots cleanly scored, or whether it's the defending of shots and getting out of the way of peril. So these are the ways that I look at it. Now, I'm not telling anybody else to look at it like I do, but having that, and I don't do draws, you know what I'm saying? It's like that turned out to be what my scorecard was because of me, after the 12th, I went back and counted, and I'm like, wow, I counted Catterall's rounds first. And once I got to 6, I was like, oh, snap. And then, of course, I counted Josh Taylor's rounds. I had it as a draw. And but I felt like Catterall won the fight. It's like I didn't feel like Josh did enough, because there were moments where Catterall was able to control with that jab. Oh my goodness, his jab was so effective on this night. Did you see him pumping that jab and pumping it several times, like 4 or 5 times, where Taylor felt like it was going to stop, but it kept coming, and then he would follow it up with a good left. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what a fighter has to do, and put punches together in combinations and in sequence, to not just settle for I tagged him good. You have so many fighters out here today who actually go out and they're content with they landed a solid shot or they got a good 1-2 off. But combinations are what will carry you through. And there was so much being done when he would open up by Jack Catterall that was so effective. It was very difficult to not consider him in favor in those sequences. I enjoyed this fight very much. There was action here, and there was boxing skill here. 2 southpaws, And did you see the adjustments that they both made? Because they kept clashing heads in the early quarter of the fight. But seemingly they got out of that foolishness and stopped clashing heads. And they were just kind of like settling into great combat. I liked it. I liked everything that I saw here. I'm not crying sour grapes on anything. Taylor, he has enjoyed the benefit of decisions in the past. Now he kind of knows what it's like on the other side when you can be in a close fight and it just doesn't go your way. I'm not rubbing his nose in that. It's just a part of the sport. If you're in there long enough, it can happen to you. And Catterall was, of course, elated to get his get back against Josh Taylor. This is definitely a damn good fight where they can face one another again. A great rivalry. It could be right up there with Eubanks and Ben, because they are both from over in that region, and they have the type of fanfare and support that'll be split. I remember tweeting out that I wish that the U.S. could have fanfare and support behind boxing matches like those people over there celebrate, man. They are rocking and rolling like it's a college football game or a soccer game in their culture. But for us, college football is very rah-rah like that. And those people are like that over boxing. Amazing stuff. Now, we could get people to come out and they'll support like the big fights. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get a big heavyweight fight going on, or a big fight like when Spence and Crawford fought each other, you'll get a turnout like that. But I'm talking about these people get excited for boxing, you know, and they rock and they roll, they sing, they cheer, they applaud. It's like, how can you not feel that energy coming through the television screen? You know what I'm saying? And they have tremendously moved forward as a nation in the professional sport of boxing, of showing why, you know, they have moved ahead of us. We got guys over here who will try to focus on their ring interests and everything, but won't focus on their technical abilities in there and get their asses knocked out and embarrassed in front of family and friends and things of that nature, because they won't do what they need to be doing. These guys over there, their ring interests are all the same, because it's a show put on for the fans, but the fighters don't have to do anything but show up. The lights and the effects and the sparkling and the visuals, all of that stuff is set up for whoever's coming out. You know what I mean? But the people, they rally, and that excites the fighters. That inspires them to fight even harder, you know, to really lay it on the line and things of that nature. This is why you get what you get when you watch a fight from over there. And I'm telling you, that's exciting. I would love to go to the UK and watch a match. Two top-notch fighters. It doesn't even have to be for the championship of the world, but just top-notch, well-known fighters getting in the ring. Because like it was announced this week, there's going to be a match coming up with Derek Chisora taking on Joe Joyce. Now, that's not a fight I don't think anybody is asking for, but you can bet your bottom dollar that the people are going to turn out and give support to those two men, because they're from over there, and that's what they do. They support. And that's all I'm saying, is that we need to learn how to get back to that, huh? This is something that is just not seen in the U.S. This was something that we used to see several generations ago, and I tweeted that out as well. Several generations ago, that is the type of atmosphere for professional boxing that you used to see here in America. Fights in the 40s and the 50s from the polo grounds and stuff like that. Scrapbook boxing, shout out to Scrapbook, would say things like that in his narratives discussing fights on a historical level. We don't have that anymore. MSG used to be called the Mecca of boxing, but it no longer is, because people don't turn out like they should and don't support the sport like they should. Yeah, you got fighters who come from New York and they'll fight in the the small auditorium there, and sometimes if they make it to the big time, they could bring a bigger fight to MSG, but it's not like it used to be. And then when we used to have Caesar's Palace, I remember fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard fighting at Caesar's Palace, or Roberto Duran, or even Larry Holmes, you know, and you would see, I remember Holmes versus Ken Norton back in 1978. The whole Caesar's Palace crowd, including people like Sylvester Stallone, who was just hot off of his Rocky film, sitting ringside, and you could see them jumping up out of their chairs and cheering the fighters on going into the 15th round, Holmes and Norton. We just don't get like that anymore. We don't get like that, and it is something that is sorely missed. But boy, were they rocking in the UK this evening. I bet everybody left that stadium on a high, whether they had a few brews or not or whatever. It was due to the action, the atmosphere, the adulation, admiration, and respect that they have for the fighters, the combatants that participated, and they delivered big time. The cruiserweight battle between Siobhan Clark and Ellis Zotto was a very disappointing matchup for me, because Zotto, who got this opportunity to fight for the BBBOC British Commonwealth title against Siobhan Clark, was knocked out in December on the Day of Reckoning card by Jai Opataya in 1 round. So to pick him for this fight, I kind of questioned it at first, but as I was watching the fight and I was noticing something, and I tweeted out about this. Siobhan Clark is a pretender, people. He is not the goods. He is not gonna be what they may be hoping that he'll be or whatever. He's not. And Zotto had an opportunity to step it up on this night, and there's just something about him that held himself back. He didn't go in there to win. He went in there to just show, and I felt like his efforts were very shallow. And then he allowed Clark to get into a place where he could finally start bullying him after, like, what round was it? Stopped in the 8th round, like after the 6th round. And I could see, and I'm yelling at the screen for Zotto, who can't hear me, right? Because he's way over in the UK. But I'm like, dude, throw some darn combinations. You throwing that right hand, Clark, every time he got hit with it, he smiled. You know what the smile means? Oh, that's a good one. Don't throw it no more. You know, but he landed some uppercuts, and I was like, okay, is his corner telling him, you're landing that right hand, but come back with the left hook? I don't think so. Were they telling him to get off, pump that 1-2 and throw that left hook and step around him and throw another right hand? Because Clark is very robotic. He tries to be animated, but he's just a physical guy. He's like, you know, one of those muscular guys. He's probably a little strong. I don't think he's that heavy-handed to be called heavy-handed. But if he hits you point and flush, he can hurt you. You know what I'm saying? But him in there with Jai Opataya, Opataya will knock that dude, as they say, spark out. Lawrence Okoli, who had a first-round knockout last night, should knock him, spark out. Chris Billum Smith should knock him, spark out. You know? And we've got Zurdo Ramirez is now up there and has one of the titles. Zurdo should knock him, spark out. But I had tweeted, I don't ever want to see Ellis Zero on TV again. Whoever put him on TV, I scoff at you, because that guy is not a person that comes to try to win. I'm sorry, he's not. If you're out there and you're related to him or you know him, he's an associate or a friend of yours, I'm sorry, but I can tell dogs when I see them. And Zoro is a dog. He's not a dog in the sense of like got fight and fire in him, but a dog as in he dogs it and don't gives the best of what he has to offer. Get his ass out of there is what I say. Don't bring him back on television. Don't bring him back on television. When he got stopped in that 8th round, it was more of a resignation than anything that Chevron Clark did to him to hurt him, huh? And it seemed like when the ref was counting, he laid there as if like, ain't the guy gonna wave it off? And the ref kept counting, so he kind of rolled over and made like he was gonna get up and everything, but he wasn't trying to even beat the count. Get out of here with that foolishness, man. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like to see fighters like that because there's too many fighters out here who are chomping at the bit for the opportunity. Huh? They really are. Just some garbage, man. Some straight garbage. So Chevron Clark is going to be out there. He's going to be talking stuff. He comes to the ring all cocky and bold. And I ain't even talking about like the Prince, you know, because the Prince was who he was. It was all a part of his personality, infused with how he fought and everything. But these guys like Clark, I've seen them before. We got a guy here in the U.S. like him. That guy that used to bring the dog to the ring with him and he got knocked out. What was his name recently, last year? He got knocked out. The young kid, the one who flipped the guy out of the ring and everything in one of his other fights. I can't remember his name right now. See, people like that, I don't data bank their names because they're not worth it. But that's who Chevron Clark is. Huh? He just ain't bring no damn dog to the ring with him. But I'm going to tell you something. Let him step outside the UK and see what happens to him. Yeah, Montana. Thanks there, Learn. Montana, yeah. Montana Love, is it? Yeah, that character. This guy is like him. And I'm going to tell you, I can call it, I see it. It's right there. That's why I tweeted during the fight. I'm like, why don't Zoro just go ahead and start pressing forward, put this guy on the back foot and start throwing some damn combinations and try to fight his ass? Because listen, he ain't the toughest guy. He's not. But it's amazing. How can I see these things, but the coaches and trainers and work in the very corner can't see this stuff? It's because they don't know what the hell they doing. That's why. They don't. And for someone to say, well, maybe the Zoro don't have it in him, that's because it is not being asked of him. They got him working in the gym. He in there hitting the bag, jumping the rope, shadow boxing and doing his exercises and everything, like a guy that just goes to the gym for a workout. But what's the point in getting in there if you ain't gonna try to win? I've seen fighters take an opportunity. I remember when Costa Zoo was taking on what was my man's name? Doggone it. Because this is a good example. Let's see. It's gonna come up. There we go. Costa Zoo back in 1997, May of 97. Costa Zoo took on Cool Vince Phillips. And Costa Zoo was the IBF lightweight champion. And Cool Vince Phillips at that time, you know, he had suffered like 3 losses. He was a journeyman, kind of slipping into a journeyman outside of a contender status. And Cool Vince Phillips, who nobody had figured him to beat Costa Zoo, he upset Costa Zoo with the 10th round stoppage. He stopped Zoo in the 10th round. And that was something that, but what happened is he saw his opportunity. Just like when Frankie Randall fought Julio Cesar Chavez. Frankie Randall took it to Chavez and tried his damnedest to beat Chavez. And he won. When are these guys going to get inspired and try to go out there and change their own futures? Just happy to be invited to a dance so you could be a wallflower or a canvas back, huh? No. Get the hell out of here with that, man. I don't want to see those guys. I don't want to see them at all. Anyway, so we got more on the way. We got more fights coming up. ESPN this evening we'll have Christian Mbili taking on Mark Heffron. And that's a fight that it should definitely be a showcase for Mbili. Definitely be a showcase for Mbili. Trying to get my TV set up for it now. But those are my thoughts on this, man. That Patty Donovan fight with Lewis Ritson, man. I mean, Ritson, who they said had been stopped in his previous couple of fights with body shots. Come on, man. He kind of went into submission late in that fight, the 9th round. You wait all those rounds to just go out there and do that foolishness? Come on, man. Anyway, but yeah, that's where we are with this. But I'm gonna get on up out of here so you guys can check out these fights that are coming up. They'll be on before you know it, and then I'll probably be back with a second post-fight show after the Mbili. I expect Mbili to deal with Heffron very easily. But it would be great if Heffron showed up, like I've stated about what we would love to see. See some guys show up and give an effort sometime and try to win, try to be the best. There's nothing wrong with attempting. Nothing wrong with it at all. But guys need to try, huh? Stop just, showing their tail, so to speak. But yeah, we're gonna get on out here, man, so you guys can tune in to this next batch of fights. But Catterall, salute to Jack Catterall getting his get back against Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's not done, but he needs to stop burning the candles at both ends if he expects to continue on with his career. And at some point, I would like to see these guys come together again, because every time you put them in the ring together, you're going to get some excitement. So with that being said, we're going to get up out of here. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll catch you guys, later this evening after the other fights. Peace.
This is not